Welcome to TrueMoors.com, our video learning series where we're going to talk about different things in regards to luxury bedding, interior design, mainly about silk and bamboo bedding. At TrueMoors.com we have grade A mulberry silk bedding, and today we're going to talk about something that I get asked about a lot. Whether or not you want to get seamed silk sheets or silk sheets with no seams. So what's the real deal with these seams anyway? So, well, nowadays, as you probably know, because many of you own these beds, we have some really large beds. Obviously, there's Queen, which is pretty big, King, which is huge. If you've never slept on a King or Cal King bed, it is a gigantic bed, and it's quite comfortable because you can really sprawl out. There's also a thing called a 3/4 bed, which is a little bit smaller than a Queen, but not by much. And then there's custom sizes. People do get custom beds made for them. And there's also all sorts of different shapes. Some people actually do have the Hugh Hefner round beds and a few other things. So, I mean, there are a lot of different shapes and sizes when it comes to beds. Not to mention the depths of every bed can be vastly different. So there's lots of different sizes is the point. And looms are only so big. So looms are actually what makes the fabric together in a roll of fabric, and then the fabric is then stitched together to make the match or the sheet. So looms are only so big. 104 centimeters to 114 centimeters is pretty typical, and that's only 41 inches and 45 inches in width. So as you can imagine, with a Queen bed, which is 60 inches wide, it's not going to stretch all the way across, which means a couple of these panels of fabric will have to be stitched together, and that's really where the seams come from. As you can see from this picture, this is a silk flat sheet, and it's a little wrinkled as you can tell, but the box is outlining where the seam is located right now. You can barely see the seam. It's really small, but it is there. And here's what you can expect the seams to be when you actually make your bed. So this little diagram shows that, say if this were your mattress looking down from above, you can see that there'll be two seams, mostly likely cutting up the bed in three sections and thirds, essentially. But you can't feel them and you can barely see them. We have been making a few advancements. As you can see just quickly from these pictures, this one picture on the left shows that the seam from underneath, so you can clearly see where the seam is located, and then here's the same picture from above. Now we have been making some new advancements in making these seams a little bit stronger, which means they're a little bit easier to see, but it's only because we want them to last, especially since silk bedding, especially in America, is so new. So then you have seamless. Obviously, if you don't have seamed, you have seamless sheets. So what's the difference? Seamlesses are made on extra wide looms, around 360 centimeters wide, typically around 280 centimeters wide though for silk sheets. So for bedding, that means we have up to 110 inches of pure silk that we can use, and that's going to cover all bedding sizes. It's going to go well over the width that you need for a King and a Cal King and any other kind of bed, which means you can get, especially for the flat sheet, which is even going to be wider, it's going to be a lot bigger, so you can get those seamless sheets. Flat sheets made with no seams at all. So what are the benefits of having seamless silk sheets since they do cost more money? Well, for one, they're going to be a little bit stronger than seam sheets. Because the seam is there, it's just an extra place where, in theory, if you were to really yank on that sheet really hard, you could rip the seam. But with a seamless sheet, you technically don't have that there, obviously, so it's going to be a little bit stronger, but it's really negligible for sleeping. Also, no seam, it's going to look a little bit better. So, actually, a little bit better look at is what I say there, but that's really important, I guess, because if you really care about the aesthetics of your bed and you don't want to have seams there, then seamless is obviously the way to go. You can see the seam in the new way we stitch it. It doesn't look ugly by any means, but it is there. So if you want your bed to look really well, if you're going to fold over a corner that could display some of the silk bedding, then having a seamless sheet might be the way to go for you. So what are some of the negatives of seamless sheets? Well, there's not many colors to choose from, so because it takes a special loom to make the silk, we obviously cannot make all the different colors at TrueMoors.com that we provide, so you're not going to have as much to choose from. And you won't be able to go up to the higher mommy weights, which is like 22 and 25 mommy weighted silk, and that's a much more thicker, more durable silk. It just means there's more silk being used again in the sheets. We have a video about mommy weight, so the more luxurious, heavier silk we're not going to be able to get in seamless. So which should you buy and which is right for you? If you can get the color you want and you really care about the aesthetics of your bed, then go with seamless. It's not too much more expensive, especially at TrueMoors.com. You'll notice other places on the internet where it gets vastly more expensive to go seamless. We try to keep the price down as best as we can, but as long as you can afford it too, as I say. So don't spend the extra money on seamless if it's going to kind of break your bank. Just go with seamed. You won't be able to feel them. That's one thing I kind of wanted to say too. And when you're sleeping on a seamed silk sheet, you can't feel the seam at all. It's as if it were never even there. It's also more expensive to make, so again, it is priced higher. The seamless sheets are priced higher. At TrueMoors.com, you can find both seamed and seamless sheets. We're coming out with all new colors with our seamless. Right now, we offer ivory and black. We're going to be coming out with gold, claret, and navy blue, and maybe a few others, with tons of amazing colors and different weights of silk. We have 19, 22, and 25. 19 is still a heavy silk. I don't want you to think that 19, just because it's our lowest, it's a cheap silk. It is not a cheap silk by any means. So check TrueMoors.com out and find the relaxation with pure luxury that everyone can afford to get. And if you have any questions, please contact me at info@TrueMoors.com. Thanks.